All right, so let's go through the letter.
When he said she walked out, did
Be helpful when I shared it.
he was allegedly watching her change her.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would frame that. Okay. That actually has a lot more sense to me. So, let's see. You think that you guys still have a record of that Google Doc or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think I'll be able to get it? Copy of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No rush.
English right now.
So right away, everybody seems okay with the detective getting the Google Doc or the letter for now.
I mean, can you email it to you, I guess, or mail it to you? I think, can you do that?
Straight from your phone.
Yeah.
You want it CCTU?
Yeah, if you don't mind, usually you can just give him that and just see it. Wasn't sure.
Okay, so he says CCTU, pointing to the detective. So I guess he's saying to send it to him, the attorney, and then CC the detective. And there's nothing about redaction at this point.
Again, it's nothing like formal. It was just kind of, but this is.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it. It was like, these are the things that we're in this family, right? And these are things that we have seen that we're concerned about, you know? And so it was just written out. I never thought that it was going to see the light of day. This is.
You're gathering your thoughts because we were trying to figure out, is there like was this an accident or is there like, because we care.
Yeah.
Here we go again with the we care. I mean, and she talks about it as if this is generated by both, and perhaps he wrote it and maybe they both have their impressions shared in there. It's not clear. It wasn't ever clarified.
About her, we care about our kids. We just took it.
Despite like Josh's character and the way he's treated my wife and I, I'm like our family,
And
we have been, professional and loving in the sense that we could have gone online and smeared him and like jumped on this a long time ago.
because he's wronged us.
But because we've never seen.
So here's this talking over each other, and the fact that this, I think, detracts from getting information when you don't separate the witnesses. They're talking and going down a different line because he's wronged us, she says. That detective doesn't have the opportunity to do any follow-up because JW's talking.
In anything incriminating, we just kept it between us and the professionals.
So there wasn't anything incriminating. I think he's referring to, it's just the kissing. And so, I get that. So it sounds like they're writing down their thoughts, their concerns, and, that's where they're at. And he doesn't think that it rises to the level, perhaps, of a crime. That's fair because he's already explained that before we got to the letter part.
One of them. And so it's like,
Because it's like, I don't know for sure if he did.
that's one of the worst things you can be accused of.
So I'm like, if you tell the whole world and it's not true, that's wrong.
I agree with that. So I agree, if you don't know for sure somebody did something and you're accusing them of it, then that's not right. The concern here is there was a cover up. Okay. Going back to what the concern was, because we don't have the identity and there are all these concerns and alarms in regard to Joshua Brown. And then there's an active cover up that was done by Joni Lamb. That was the issue.
That's one of those things. I'm not here to.
My job is not to find people and make them go to jail or anything. My job is to hear everything, and if they're innocent, prove they're innocent. If they're guilty, prove they're guilty. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's 50-50 things.
But we want to know
I feel 50-50.
the truth. We want to know the truth.
Absolutely.
And they say that a couple times, and I think that they do, but I think that they're conflicted because they have to balance that out with what do you do with the truth when you find it out? So they want to know, and you'll see they talk about, so what happens like when they're closing this out, because they come back for another interview, they want it. I know that JW talks about it, but we'll get there.
Read too. This part of it is, that letter keeps as a recurring theme. So I wouldn't be any good at my job if I didn't even ask it that.
I guess my request would be if I his email, he says working out.
If I do, or when I do send it, can we just agree to keep it private? Because the last thing I want is that
So he wants it private. He doesn't want it to go on the internet.
thing online being sensationalizing, but I'm happy. So
The information that was released from the previous report, that was given to the parents. So the parents took that and released it against my wishes. And I didn't even know they did it.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know they released.
So I don't know what report he's talking about. There's going to be something he's about to say, though. I think it's here. I don't know what report he's talking about that allegedly Jonathan and Susie released without his knowledge.
See the thing until I started college for, and that's what I don't want. But I'm happy to help you in your investigation because I too want the truth, honestly.
Right. There it is again. And they do seem sincere in that, their body language, they're open. They've said it a couple times about wanting the truth. But then we're going to get into what that looks like in regard to actually handing over that letter.
I have a daughter, and this is, very intimate to my life.
but I just don't want to further cause a storm or a swirl or a web of stuff online and all that.
So I don't really say anything to me, or as long as, even if it's suspended, active, or anything, if it's not closed, they can't release anything anyways. We get daily calls from all the people in Canada, people in the countries calling and saying, I'm at the police report, can't get it. Just for background, there was a previous incident back at Compass Church back in 20
Yes.
that was reported, and so that case was closed for a while.
What is that? There was an incident in 2020 at Compass Church. I just picked that up when I was just looking at this. It seemed to have been glossed over, and he talks about that case being closed. I don't know what that is.
I'm sure you guys are aware of that. That's how they got that report, but it isn't closed.
Okay.
But I can't. So when this case closes, or if this case closes, stuff that open to public record doesn't get in that. So that's the state. So I'm not gonna lie to you and say, yeah, I was folded onto it for everything. Everything I document is open to record eventually. Get the other thing.
Clearly, he has an issue with that. Obviously, it's written. If the case is closed, then it's going to be disseminated like we have here. This is where they're talking about the redaction.
And I just remember thinking, why is so kids doing?
This is something else. So they're talking about the redaction. The attorney then says,
Yeah, I don't care if you didn't like the Diet Coke and the Give Bud that.
they're talking about, let me go back. They're talking about keeping the facts. Obviously, the detective wants the facts. He doesn't want the impressions. And that's what they're trying to kind of filter out.
He's his opinions and things too. They'll listen there,
It wasn't for public consumption.
It was our concern. It was kind of gathering all of our thoughts. Like, okay, these are all the things. Let's put it down.
Let me do it this way. I think it's probably better to do it this way just to prevent the fallout, if you will. What you observed and saw, why don't we get that? It gets through the technical. Let's get it.
So that's what they conclude. What you observed and saw would be the facts and give it to the detective. But we know later that they don't give the letter later. So then they go into other things that they see Archbishop Brown dealing with his hands
Underwater. And I just remember thinking,
describing being under the water, his hands under the water with the children there and his concern there. Let's move it along.
Regardless if she was and that's why I saw her not and
Yeah.
whatnot.
when we saw the things that we saw, whether or not they were either just creepy and weird, or we just went and told parents immediately because that's what I would want them to do.
Yeah.
If somebody thought something,
Is that when you and me? Because for sure, yeah. I wouldn't be as little at it as you, but
I don't think I was down. No, baby, that.
It just wasn't our case. It was
So they have concerns. They defer to the parents. That's what she's saying. It's not our kid. Again, it's just a difference of point of view subjectively. And so they claim to have told, earlier he says that he was trying to get the attention of Susie and she ignored him. I highly doubt that happened. So I want to move to,
He said, I don't know if he did it or not, but I forgive him regardless, and I'm letting it go. So I'm like, okay, that's his decision.
and that's talking about Jonathan, when apparently Jonathan is saying that he's letting it go. He doesn't know if Joshua Brown did it. And so they obviously have this conversation, but it sounds like earlier she's claimed to be in the dark. So that was a bit confusing to me.
Things that he would do is he has been really bad to us through the years, and he would treat us one way when
Sorry, let me just back this up. He talks about how, what the detective is asking them both about not allowing Josh into their house. And it sounds to me, and I'm going to have this video so that you can watch the whole thing if you haven't already, but you can watch it without any commentary. But it sounds to me that they initially did not allow or did not want Josh Brown in their house because he was mean to them and mean to the kids, and then added on the creepy things. That's what it sounds like.
Joshua at the house is the kind of the same thing because we're
yeah, because one of the things that he would do is he has been really bad to us through the years, and he would treat us one way when my sister was there or my mom was there, and then when no one was there, he would be, when they were there, he would be decent to us, and when no one was around, he would be mean. And I saw him be that way with my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my kids are not dealing with that kind of behavior. And I'm super protective of my kids anyway. And we didn't have a friendship, so there was no reason for.
That's interesting. They didn't have a friendship. She refers to it as friendship, but that's her sister's husband. So I find it interesting because they're all working at this Daystar, whatever organization, but how do you separate each other? How do you do that? And you're not friends, you're not friendly, whatever it is. It's very interesting, this dynamic.
For him to come to her house, but I don't trust him.
But then after the allegations came out from
I was done with it.
it was like, yeah, you're just not allowed here.
Yeah, that was enough for us.
Yeah.
I wonder if they told him that. Did they say, you're just not allowed here anymore? Well, they know now. Who knows how it works internally, but it seems as though that was the initiating factor, was that Josh was mean to them. And she even says that it's not really being talked about online. And well, now it will be. So, they outed him as somebody that's not nice to them and their kids, meaning Josh Brown. And they even said that about Josh not being nice to Jonathan and Susie, but then flipped the script and was, because they were trying, allegedly, that from what they're saying, was that Josh and Rachel were trying to get in good with Susie and Jonathan because they were next in line to lead. It just seems like there's a lot of vying for position, not by Jonathan and Susie whatsoever, but by Josh and Rachel and by JW and Rebecca. That's what it appears to me. I'm going to skip through this because I really don't want to make this too long, and I want to get into the second one. So this is where he leaves, and and then he comes back and they close.
Our family to move forward and become healthier and break those toxic cycles.
So she gives that sigh. I get the impression here that he was candid. She didn't have to share as much as she did in regard to the issues with the family, but she did. So I found that to be interesting.
You picked a good time to go, I guess. I'm pretty much.
Okay. You got any questions or anything for me, or anything I should know about off the top of your head? I'll ask him if he needs back.
Not anything else that I could think of. Just, I want to know the truth. I just don't know if there's a way. Is there a way that it can be found out?
See, ultimately, I can't do that with.
And that's a valid question, and I think that she's probably not getting information from Joni. And so she's seeking it from the detective. They have to seek it from another place because they seem to want to know what happened.
who I am right now. Also, yeah. So keep praying.
I will. A court agreement.
Yeah, all together.
We want the same.
Praying.
I will. All right, I'll try to say the good.
As he comes in next, if you realize that
So yeah, you got your family, you got full of other people too, like a bunch of nobodies, you get.
You got your big family, but this is you your kids.
Sorry, thank you.
He was like a good time to get because he like you're basically done.
oh, really?
I asked her already. Have I asked you any questions for me, or you think there's anything I should know?
No, I just really want the truth on this one. Okay.
Court agreement.
Yeah, all together.
We want the same.
Yeah, like I hate the way it's gone down, and I even feel bad for you and how you probably had
Dragging on.
because we all kind of feel like we're dragged into something that. But at the end of the day, like if was abused by him, that needs to come out, in my opinion, and it has to be dealt with properly.
That's what
And that's what we desire. And then if it wasn't, then I'd be like clarity on that, so that we could like move forward and try and restore this family.
that makes sense. That they're saying what they want. They want to know if this happened. They want that to come out. They want the truth. But then the restoration of the family is, wow, that's a big, big issue because they've already admitted that, they don't have a relationship anymore with Susie and Jonathan. And they already have from what Rachel was saying, it's a toxic family already.
Because it's really a work.
Yeah.
So you shoot me that email.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll get that to you, detective.
So that's how they ended it. That JW would give him, his attorney, the letter and that he would get it to the detective. But that didn't happen.
As soon as I can. Yeah, but okay.
I guess what do you guys? I know it's a dumb question. What do you guys think about the whole thing? Like, what think there's an angle somebody or okay, what?
No.
I don't know. I love it.
With Jonathan and Susie, right?
Or anybody, I guess. I mean, I think there's two angles. So yeah, go ahead. You yours first.
Well, we had some friends tell us that my brothers, like,
And this is where, and I would pretty much close, hey, just we're at the end. Go ahead and tell me your thoughts. Is there an angle? Is somebody playing something? What are your thoughts? Not that necessarily he's going to believe it. He just wants to hear it. And this part where she's saying that Jonathan's friends are saying that he was out to, let's hear what she says again.
one of the things he's trying to do through all this is he's trying to become president.
If that was the case, why would he have left? I mean, why would he have put him in a position to have been fired? It doesn't make any sense. That's hearing from Joni. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
So it's not just, everything that
And you know what? You can have two truths going on at the same time. Sure, he wanted to be president. His father told him he was going to be president, but it seems like they're conflating that with what is going on in the first place. Like the fact that Jonathan thought he was going to be president doesn't mean that he doesn't want justice for his child. And I think that part of that is likely coming from Joni. They're hearing that. Maybe they're making the decision on their own. Maybe they don't like what they're seeing on social media.
he's doing there, it was intentional. And I know for a year, however, so he was conspiring. He was doing that.
Yeah, that she really thought.
And the conspiring, is that the talking to an attorney? Is that because he was recording conversations? So I don't know, but that's her impression. And I feel like there is a bit of offense that they were cut out, didn't know why. They were just, how they talked about it. We're just cut off. And then, all they have to do is sit on it and ruminate on it and talk to internally their family members on it. And I'm sure that her mother is giving her an earful. And so she's believing, hey, this is what Jonathan did. He recorded those conversations. He told us that he wasn't going to. And, this is probably what she's talking about or referring to.
And his daughter was touched. He shouldn't have just buried that until it was time to suit him and his career. He should have done that.
How is that a time to suit him for his career? Not made. It's not clear. there's something that they're thinking about, and they could probably articulate it best because they know the timing of things. But it does seem from what we've been able to observe that those are two separate things. And in fact, at the time that Jonathan was terminated, he wasn't vice president anymore. They removed him from that role. So they came out publicly about what happened to their daughter after he was already fired.
Addressed. So I don't know if they actually think that, honestly, as much as they just might, like, they can use this to bring down his mom, which is terrible.
And like I said, I question their motivations in the protection of a child, because why did you try to protect our
Yeah,
kids?
they don't care about our kids. It's about like
They don't care about our kids and question their motive. If they didn't care about their kids, they would still be at Daystar.
Really?
if they did, like, if you had a brother-in-law, like, they would come and tell you that it's something you should, or if,
Very weird. It would ruin it would threaten his plan.
yeah, because we would have just said, oh, what are you doing? We wouldn't, because we're not dysfunctional, we're functional. So, I mean, I think that
Who's he calling dysfunctional? See, that's the thing. Like, it seems like, they're elevating themselves. He is saying we're functional and not dysfunctional. They're throwing Jonathan and Susie under the bus. This is essentially what they're doing right here.
there's that angle, and if on the other side of it is like, I don't understand why Josh has been so weird about hiding things from everyone. If you're innocent, just come out and say, like, let's get this over with. But to me,
That seems like the bigger issue, but they're making a bigger issue about Jonathan and Susie vying for the job. But the biggest issue would appear to me what he just said. Why is Josh hiding things? You already don't trust him. You said that. So that would be, I think, a primary point.
It's been all mishandled, mismanaged.
Yeah.
Say hiding everything for everybody, like the family, like the son of you guys was going on, or
yeah, we don't know hardly anything. I mean, like, I just feel like
Out of the loop.
yeah.
Very much out of the loop. We're like the furthest. We're like the bottom of the barrel. No, really, don't put it that way. Not in the eyes of the Lord.
I think when she's talking about this supports what I was referring to earlier, where, there's kind of an offense. It seems like they were offended with Josh and Rachel trying to get buddy with Susie and Jonathan, vying for a position. They, at least she does, deem themselves at the bottom of the barrel, not worthy, whatever. There's definitely these interpersonal, interfamily issues, which has nothing to do with whether a crime was committed. But it's hard to separate that out, because when you're trying to get information, you're getting it from people who have this history. And so you're getting it through that filter. So that's what we're seeing here.
Really value telling you in the family you are the bottom.
well, looking outside in, I think that's where we want to be right now.
Well, that's a good point. It's a good point.
And we just want to do, honestly, this whole time, we always just try to do the right thing.
Yeah. That's why I'm so grateful that you reached out to us, because, like, I feel like that was probably the last kind of
Thing that we could do.
is, like, talk to somebody completely outside that is a detective that can investigate and, like, tell us what, because in the day we've never witnessed a crime. We just felt and seen all these weird things, and we dealt with it. Not a predator, but what is he like? Is he? I mean, he's terrorized us for years.
Terrorized them for years. He's abusive. Why don't you lead with that? Instead of leading with, well, I don't trust Jonathan and Susie. I mean, mind-boggling.
And so it's like, anytime we've tried to raise anything, it's always been like,
Our concern.
yeah. So
Okay, and who does that? What he's about to say, or what they're, they don't have full thoughts here. When they try to raise a concern, it's kind of like shut away. Well, who's doing that? Joni. That's what's happening. So they are, I get it. Everybody's going to have their position on them. I do believe that they were candid here. I believe that they are very conflicted. And at the end of the day, Joni is paying for their livelihood. That's how they live, because they work for her. And they are also hearing from her because they're not in communication with Jonathan and Susie.
Okay. So this sucks that he's in the family now, right?
You get it. Yeah.
What guys?
I think everybody does. We all. That's it. I appreciate.
Okay. I'm going to, let's see the beating here. Yeah. There was some part.
Anybody else needs hard to, feel free to reach out to me. Okay.
Okay, we're going to go into the next video, but I want to share this because in the first part of the video, I said that I had a question and it was about Israel. And I was texting Susie, but I didn't yet get a message from her, but I did after while I was in the middle of filming. And she did say I could share it. So the detective did ask for Israel to do a forensic last year when he was 12. And she had asked him if he remembered anything and he didn't. So, and he also did not remember the conversation with Sylvia. So there would be no reason to do a forensic if he didn't even remember that because he was 12 at the time that they were going to do that. And he would have been looking back several years. If that wasn't, something memorialized in some way, like it wasn't important enough, he wouldn't have remembered it. So, all right, I'm going to stop it here because the next one, I'm going to go into the next one, and then we're going to do the Sylvia one. So I'm doing these in parts.